up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. I am eating today 410 grams of protein, 680 grams of carbs, and 85 grams of fat. I'm filling in for this next show, and you're about to see a big, hard, full, cut, lean, nasty Lobliner. I'm also doing 50 minutes of cardio in the morning and 25 minutes post-workout. What John's doing is he's keeping my cardio high, calories high, filling out, keeping nice and full of nutrients. Everything's gonna be great. Anywho, Jason Blaha, IceCreamFitness, did a great video yesterday. It depends who you ask. I'm gonna say great just because I need an adjective. Video was about how to spot a natural who's on steroids. Tasty. Branch chains and D-ball. Alright, check it. Now, as Vice President of the ANBF, the American Natural Bodybuilding Federation, we face a lot of issues drug testing people. And Jason says polygraphs are highly unreliable, and that's why they're not allowed in courts in America and everywhere else. I agree with that. What we do in the ANBF is we essentially do off-season drug testing. We're instituting that. Once our season starts, May 11th is our first show. And after that, we have a plan that we're putting in place for off-season drug testing, which will work. It will at least add a point of differentiation to make ours a bit stringent than most. Polygraphing, unfortunately, is the best we've got. Because blood testing, hair testing, all that can be beaten by timing your drugs. And there's really no 100% accurate way to test. There's no 100% foolproof way. So, let me explain my thoughts on the situation. If you're on steroids, if you're on anything, compete in the NPC or NABA. I mean, gee whiz, guys, if you are that interested in winning a trophy, first of all, there's no money in natural bodybuilding, there's no money in drug bodybuilding. There's no money in bodybuilding. Why would you, with an unfair advantage of doing something explicitly stated to be against the rules, not just compete in an organization where you can use it legally, clearly, and be on a level playing field? If you compete in natural bodybuilding and you are on steroids, you're a fucking douchebag. Now, I understand it's against the law. Nobody's asking you to admit your medical history or what you choose to do with your body, in my opinion, is up to you. However, lying to get a fucking trophy in natural bodybuilding and being on a performance-enhancing substance explicitly, now let's go over, each organization is different. Some go by WADA drug guidelines, some have their own. So essentially what I'm saying is, follow the rules on drug use given by the organization you choose to compete in. For example, the ANBF uses WADA, the World Anti-Doping Agency, with some modifications such as 7-keto is legal in the ANBF. OCB is very similar. WNBF is very similar. There, you got the NPA, which is another natural organization. All they require is you to sign an affidavit stating that you're not on steroids. It's fucking stupid, huh? Now, here's the deal. With an organization that's natural, you rely on trust, ethics, and character of your competitors. People are going to cheat. People are going to get by in cheating. What I don't understand in bodybuilding is while in baseball, in professional sports, yeah, you're going to have drug use because there's a lot of money at stake and because there's no unnatural alternative. You can't go play in the drug major leagues. You can't go to the Major League NPC baseball organization. But there's one organization, millions of dollars on the line, so yeah, you're gonna have drug use. Everybody in the MLB, well, I'd say a vast majority of players in the Major League Baseball, football, basketball are on a performance-enhancing drug or 2 or 3 or 4 or 12, and they know how to pass it. Pass the test. So, what I'm getting at here is, While I believe the ANBF has the most stringent policy as far as drug use and drug testing is concerned, there's still going to be some that slip by the cracks. We can't be 100% foolproof. That's where we rely on people's ethics and character and integrity. And if you get on stage with a bunch of naturals and you're on a bunch of shit, I don't think that's right. Now, there's always NPC, NABA, and other organizations that allow stuff like that to be used. So, while I'm not going to be like Jason, and I think Jason does what Jason does, and I respect the living hell out of Jason Blaha. I like Jason, I speak to him often, and I agree with most of what he has to say. However, I'm not going to call people out, say they're not natural. I actually read some of the comments in his video. People are calling out Chris Jones and this and that. Chris doesn't compete. If Chris wants, and I'm not saying Chris, I have no doubt in my mind that Chris is natural. However, if Chris is just a fucking beast. However, if Chris is on and he's not competing as a natural, who gives a fuck? Let him do what the fuck he wants to do. But I'm not saying he is. However, if someone who competes in the OCB is using, then yes, call his ass out, but make sure you have proof. There are some genetic freaks. There are some people who look great. I have no reason to believe that Doug Miller's not natural. Doug Miller looks better than 90% of the guys I compete against the NPC. Doug Miller's a freak. There's always going to be that genetic outlier. Thus, what Jason said had some very valid points. It was sensationalist, got a lot of views. It got me to talk about it because it was brought up to me. However, I am going to agree with him in that there is no foolproof way of testing. But know that if you're competing in a natural organization and you're not natural, you are a piece of shit. And you deserve to be slapped across the face with a raw fish and anally abused with, let me think of a good, with a bottle of protein. So, I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. No lube at all. That's pretty much it, guys. Look, if you want to use, and you have a medical reason, or you just want to do it, or it's legal in your country, if you're in the UK, it's legal for recreational personal use, by all means, do your thing. But don't get on stage in the OCB or the WMBF or the ANBF and compete and take the trophy and the rightful winnings away from that guy who's really natural, because he ain't going to be able to compete against you. And what kind of person does that make you, going up against a person with a trophy? Now, question was written to me, what are my opinions? The NPC Michigan has taken away, they're basically not doing natural shows. Now everybody knows the NPC shows, are they natural? Yeah, I mean, they test. But again, that's another thing. If you're competing in an NPC natural show, it says a year drug-free. I mean, again, you're relying on trust. And I'm not going to put that on the organization to out everybody, because it's impossible. Where there's a test, there's a way to beat it. So, and really the NPC's a clusterfuck anyway. I have lost all respect for the NPC, the politics involved, and it's not going to change. So expect me to be fully backing NABA in the future. Because the NPC, yeah, I'll get into that later. That's another video. But anyway, guys, that's it. Jason, ballsy move, brother. Ballsy move. And you called people out. I'm not sure if you were right about them. I don't have that eye that maybe you do to tell somebody from another person. But again, my stance has always been and always will be, if you're not natural, don't compete in a natural show. I'm Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com, lying on a lie detector test. It's not a game!
Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Check it, yo. Listen to this North American, you and you did the faulty heritage. I'm not the medicine better than majority.